So I was watching this series of books about heroes of classical chess, the giant of strategy, and there were another two, and I was considering buying them, and I was looking for them used. Then what I found is that Everyman Chess made the same books available as couples, twins, we could call them. Practically for like $15, I got Heroes of Classical Chess and the Giant of Strategy. Instead, if I would have bought them one by one, it was like $30, 23, it was much more, right? So I'm enjoying these two books for the price of one, or less than one. I would like inside, obviously, the fourth part, the Heroes of Classical Chess. As you can see, there is the picture Carlsen, Anand, Fischer, Smyslov, and Rubinstein. In Giants of Strategy, obviously, we see our pictures. In this case, I want to show you a game from the book Heroes of Classical Chess, the part relative to Carlsen. Why? Because, well, I don't really follow the tournaments. I think Carlsen at this point has demonstrated that he's the greatest chess player, and he has an absolute dominance. I generally watch some of his games online. Sometimes I watch some of his games on Lee Chess. They were mind-blowing, but I don't know much about him. So what I want to share with you is Chapter 5, Magnus Carlsen, Game 29, which was played Carlsen against Ernst in Weekend Z 2004. It's a Caro-Kann defense. Here, of course, there is a big introduction to Carlsen. Eventually, I will read it at the end of the game, because I know that otherwise you guys are not watching the video. So, that's a fact. E4, C6. So, Carlsen is white, right? D4, D5, Knight C3, and D takes E4. Knight takes E4, and Bishop F5. Knight G3, Bishop G6. These are honestly typical moves of a Caro-Kann defense, so there is not much to comment about them, apart the fact that when I use the Caro-Kann I was able to lose with that. So H5 and Bishop H7. So yeah, in any case the opening preparation is important. Bishop D3, Bishop takes D3. I think this line, to memorize this line, is very easy because most of the moves are fours, and that's a fact. E6, so it's cementing the control of D5. Bishop F4, immediately capitalizing on the fact that these two pawns are not controlling the dark squares. Knight G F6, long castle, or castle queenside. Bishop E7, Knight E4, and now there is Queen A5, and here there is a diagram, okay? It says the early moves in this variation have already been discussed in the notes to game 24, and this is game 9, okay. Anand Ponomaryov, which varied here with, instead of Queen A5, he plays Knight take E4, okay. In any case, King B1, defending the pawn A2, and castle. Here it says white regains his pawn and may have a very slight edge due to his marginally more active pieces and queenside majority after. So if instead of castling you were wondering what happens after knight takes h5, well, the truth is that white will regain his pawn. How? Let me show you the line. Bishop d2, queen f5, knight d6, check. Bishop takes d6, queen takes f5, e takes f5, and the rook takes h5. And black must either lose his f or h pawn. So here it says black will lose or this, or better h pawn there. Oh, let's see. Okay. Yeah, because if you defend this, then this goes down. Okay, I got it. Let's go back to the position. Let me pause the video. Okay, so I return back to the position, and of course we had just the explanation of why knight takes h5 doesn't really gain a pawn. Honestly, I find a little scary to castle on this side, because, oh my god, you're castling in the mouth of the lion, I don't know. And here it says but black can also consider knight takes e4, queen takes e4, knight f6. For example, but then it says knight takes h5. No, I don't do it for honestly getting that pawn, because the point is I would like to castle in a safe place, and I don't know if this side is really safe. Oh. Let's see. Obviously, I don't play the Carlsen from a very, very long time, so I don't remember the theory, and I'm not really familiar with the new games played in the Carlsen. Knight takes f6, knight takes f6, and knight e5. Rook a d8. So this is honestly, you see why you watch games of chess players, top chess player, in this case this Ernst, that I believe must be a grandmaster, because often you ask yourself, should I put the f rook or the a rook? And that's why you watch modern games, because a modern game would tell you which of the two rooks and why. Okay? Okay, now here Carlsen played queen e2, but it seems queen g3 is a better move. Okay, eventually you can also buy the book and discover why it's a better move. Obviously, why did he play queen e2 or why queen g3 was the move to play? Because once you have a rook over here, it's a kind of X-ray attack against this, right? So you want to remove the queen from the line of fire. That's the reason. Queen e2. And this also can teach you, right? Because you have a young Carlsen. This game was played in 2004, so he was very, very young. But as you can see, he already does the right stuff with the move, right? Okay, and now black played c5. And here it says, this provocative move invites a dangerous knight sacrifice. Black should probably prefer the precautionary queen b6. And here there is a long line after queen d6, b6, and at a certain point there is also a game between Anand and Barev, which ended up at move 27 with a draw. So we are just at move 17, 10 moves later. Typical grandmaster draw, I guess. So after c5, now it's your turn, you're white. Get your little clock, turn it, and think for 3 minutes, and decide what would you play if you were white. Okay? So I hope you paused the video. I hope you found the move you would like to play as white. Carlsen played knight g6. Boom. White's knight sacrifice is much stronger than in the previous note. Okay, I didn't show you the previous note because honestly I find them a little boring, all these notes. But I'm not stopping you from buying the book and check all the notes. Okay, and with hindsight it is clear that black should really decline the offer. Okay, so the hindsight must be a stockfish or whatever they were using in the time, because generally it's always a computer that tell you if it's correct or not the sacrifice, right? Here black played f takes g6, that is not a good idea. Again, it seems that the right move in this situation was rook f e8, and after knight takes e7, rook takes e7, d takes c5, he says black might still battle on, and I tell you why, okay? But f takes g6, not the best one. After which there is queen takes e6, king h8, and of course now h takes g6, because you are starting to develop a mating attack, right? That's why I tell you, you castle on this side. Once the h file is open, especially if you give this pawn away like they were showing in the beginning. Oh, what happens if you lose the h pawn? Who cares? If you lose the h pawn, that other guy has a line, a direct line of attack on you. Why would you get that pawn? Because sometimes pawns are what you sacrifice in order to open the lines, right? So I don't know. Well, okay, after h takes g6, black played knight g8, and of course, again, take your little clock, turn it, think for 3 minutes, and decide what would you play if you were white, so you can step in Carlsen shoes. What would you play if you were white? I hope you pause the video, and now you're ready to answer, right? The move was bishop takes h6. Boom. Okay. Notice in the game it was g takes h6, but black would lose also with knight takes h6, okay? After knight takes h6, there is rook takes, g takes, and queen takes e7. So there is a mate on h7 that you cannot escape, so obviously it's a problem. So after g takes h6, what do you think Carlsen did? Again, use your little clock, think a little, pause the video, but the move obviously at this point is rook takes h6, right? Because after knight takes h6, there is queen takes e7. Now there is a checkmate threat on here, so obviously you need to stop it in some way, and he played knight f7. And again, get your little watch, pause the video, no? Turn it and think for 3 minutes what would you do here, because this is honestly, it's the only way you're going to learn chess. If you just watch the games for watching them, you're just wasting everyone's time, included your, but that's okay, it's your time on earth. But if you instead want to really learn chess, you need to be as hands-on, interactive as possible. So now you need to tell me what white would play in this position. And white played g takes f7, okay? Okay, so it seems that, by the way, there was another game played in the same position, but Carlsen solved deeply, more deeply than anybody else. Wow, what a news. So black played king g7, and of course, once more, I tell you, pause the video, because here Carlsen didn't find the right continuation. It seems that there was a big possibility here. So pause the video, think a little, 3 minutes at least, and try to find what's the best move. Here I will show it to you, because thank God they have put a diagram. Sometimes it happens. So in the game, Carlsen played this, but it seems it's not the most accurate move. The most accurate move to win is queen e5, king takes f7, rook d3. And now and here it gives a quick mate. Okay, so let's see what else after. Let's see. I think after queen e5, king takes f7. I don't think there is other possibility. Yeah. Okay, let me see what the book says. Okay, I understood what the book says. Strangely, the notes with the right move are before instead of after. So in this position, we were in this position, Carlsen played rook d3. And it seems maybe the best move, but black is losing, okay, was queen b6. Instead, in the game, it played like rook d6. And you say, why rook d6? It's losing a rook. No, you must be very careful, because if you take this rook, this is really poison. There is queen e1 checkmate, because rook d1, queen takes d1 checkmate. So that's the trap behind the rook d6. But rook g3, which was played in the game, rook g6, queen e5, and king takes f5, f7. There is here the possibility of this move, but black loses by checkmate in about 4 moves. So if you want, pause the video and try to find the checkmate. Here it's given in the book, okay? So king takes f7, queen f5. Okay, I think this game is kind of famous because I remember that many years ago I remember this checkmate. I think maybe it's called the Palouette checkmate. In the time I thought that maybe giving the checkmates a name one would learn them easily. In reality it's not related. However, the final move, it's obviously queen d7, checkmate. And I hope you really enjoyed this this game. Here at the beginning of the chapter there was a quotation by Sigmund Agdestein in New in Chess. One of Magnus' great strength is his broad opening repertoire. We live in a time of information overflow, and the new champion could be the one that handles this best. He has to know everything like a computer. I think in reality at this moment they are doing like the second or fourth best move, obviously created by the computers, because they try to see the other opening preparation, the other opponent opening preparation, because they know already that the fourth choice, everybody knows it. Okay, thank you very much for watching and see you later.